Mike, did you not see the notification that I shared a drive with you a couple days ago?
Yes, you did. You shared a sound clip, but it had
that's for the new theme song.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's the Fantasy Forecast with Grenberg and Biggs. This is our starts and sits show. We are coming off a hell of a waiver wire show. Oh my goodness! And also last night was Halloween. And as Aaron Rodgers gets sacked last night. We are here to bring you our tricks and our treats from last night's Halloween, and that doesn't ring quite as true on this show, I guess. Starts and sits, everybody. Before we get into it, go ahead and like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that stuff. Find him at FFCanuck99 over on the tweet machine. Our producer at Schultzy at SCHU, the number one, TZY. He's on Twitter too. I'm at Big Boned at FFB, but you can find my stuff at the word dot, the period, cards / Big Boned at FFB, and you will find the links to all of our content on every platform, as well as my Twitter and all of our YouTube channels and this show. And there's also a link for you to sign up for Fantasy Sports Advice Network .com, the app, and it's all there. Cards / Big Boned at FFB. With that, starts and sits. Let's go, Mike.
Let's go. Let's do it, man. And this week 9, can't believe we're already freaking talking about week 9, Biggs. Where did the time
go? We're keeping it clean.
I know.
Shit.
Sorry,
said
Tyler.
In our meeting, keep it clean.
Yeah, apologies, Tyler. We can't go sorry, Tyler, because that's been taken by another network. Maybe we go like, I don't know. Apologies, Tyler.
Hey, what are our studs and duds?
Let's do some studs and duds from last week. Okay. Well, I told everybody to start Brian Thomas Jr. Had a pretty decent game, 3 for 60 and a touchdown. So pretty good start there. Wasn't like prolific, but I'm going to take that one. I also told everybody to start Kareem Hunt, 21 for 58, a touchdown. So I'm going to take that one as well. Deontay Johnson, I told folks to sit, but he did not play. So that was a wash. I told folks to sit Alvin Kamara, thinking that he'd have a down game. There wasn't much for him in the rushing game, 10 for 67, but he did contribute in the passing game. So if you were in PPR leagues, he was a decent start with 6 for 55. How about you, Biggs? How did you end up going last week?
I don't know. You're the one that wrote him down, and I have a mind like a goldfish. I said Jordan Love, David Njoku, and Marvin Harrison Jr. Jordan Love, obviously, I know that one by heart because I had him in my home league. He was supposed to take over for the questionable game time decision, Jaden Daniels, who the previous week I had start, and he got hurt, left the game, got me 5.5 points. So I was thinking, all right, well, I'm going to go with Jordan Love. And so I put Jordan Love in there, and guess what he does? He gets hurt, leaves the game early, gives me 5.5 points, while Jordan Love is on my bench getting me 22. So, F me, right? David Njoku, I think I said to start.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I said to start, and he did something. And then Marvin Harrison Jr. I also said to do something with, and there you have
it. So Marvin, what did you? All right then, way to own up to it, buddy. I'll move past that one. Okay, let's forget about that one. Let's move on.
I said sit Marvin Harrison Jr. and he went off.
Fair. All right then, let's continue on.
Own it. What are you talking about?
I'm just bugging you, man. Let's go. Let's talk about our starts of the week. I'm going to start here, and I'm going to tell everybody our treats of the week, if you will, and probably beat you to the punch. I know you're probably mad that I took Ladd McConkey this week, and I think he's the guy that you should consider starting. He had a monster week, his coming out party, if you will, last week, where he had 6 receptions, 111 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He's looking really good as the number one wide receiver for Justin Herbert, who's looking to be coming back into his form of a couple years ago. McConkey has a great matchup this week to capitalize on his good game. The Browns, they're a tougher challenge than you might present, but I think that McConkey is here with his speed, his route running ability. He's going to be a great option as a wide receiver too, and he's a must start in my opinion for the rest of the year. He's set to be a valuable asset for your lineup. Now, Biggs, who you got as your number one start this week?
I mean, you're moving me on, but I wasn't done talking about Lad McConkey yet. Um, we saw Lad McConkey coming, and yes, the Cleveland Browns allow fewer yards per on the average to wide receivers, but they are number 5 in points allowed to, like, bottom 5. They're 27th in points allowed to wide receivers on the season at 22.8. And if Lad McConkey is moving forward, the wide receiver one in that room, which we called, never wrong, just early or late. We had Lad McConkey pegged from the beginning. He dealt with some injuries. He dealt with Greg Roman trying to feel out that new offense, and Lad McConkey showed up this last week. Just like we said, and regular viewers of the show know that we pounded the table for Lad McConkey all offseason. And two of the metrics that we saw in that he had in college that we were saying we're going to translate at the NFL level: first downs per route run and missed tackles forced per route run. He's the number 3 wide receiver among the rookies in first downs per route run, and he's among the lead leaguers, if not the lead leaguer, in missed tackle. League leader. I said lead leaguer.
Yeah.
league leader. If he's not the number 1 in missed tackles forced per route run, he's up there in the top couple. So Lad McConkey has arrived, you guys. I applaud your choice.
Thanks.
All right, my treat number 1, and let's face it, if Halloween lands on a Thursday and you have games on Sunday and Monday, the people in the stands on Sunday, they're going to be dressed in their Halloween costumes. So Halloween is a 5-day event this year. So I'm going to say tricks and treats for sits and starts and sits, treats and tricks. All right. My first treat is going to be Alvin Kamara. Now, I need to go against last week's narrative, where it didn't look like he had a great matchup, and he still. I love that Mike said didn't do much on the ground. He averaged 6.7 yards per carry. This week he goes up against the Carolina Panthers defense, who are hot garbage. He's going to have his way, whether it's in the passing game or the run game. I have a feeling he's going to get a few dump passes and turn them into around 100 yards receiving on top of what he's able to do in the run game. New Orleans, with Derek Carr back and in full health, they're going to completely run over Carolina. And we know who benefits from New Orleans scoring 30, 40, 50 points, and that's Alvin Kamara. So whether you were waiting for him to come back or whatever reason you felt like he wasn't going to be in your lineup, you stick him in there this week. He's going to be my RB1.
Yeah, I love Kamara's matchup this week. I love his situation now that Derek Carr is coming back. Yeah, he's a smash play this week, and I'm excited for him. To continue to propel my Scott Fishbowl lineup to the top 500 echelon here now. So let's continue to drive that going. Kamara, let's go. My next start of the week is a guy that
Treat.
My treat of the week here is number 2, uh Matthew Stafford, and I picked him up on the waiver wire in a couple of leagues this week, and I'm happy I did. He had a great performance against the Vikings, 279 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's back in the form, and we're waiting for it with Cooper Kupp, Puka Nakua. Well, Puka, came up on the injury report today, so we're gonna have to look at that. But with Kupp back, he's transformed this lineup, and Stafford is primed to continue that. The Seahawks, they have a reputation of a tough defense. also shown some vulnerabilities. They've allowed at least 2 touchdowns to passing touchdowns the last 4 different quarterbacks this season. So Stafford, the ability to throw over 250 yards on multiple occasions this year, I think he's ready for another big game against a Seattle team that needs a win as well. So this could be a game that has some fireworks in it, and I think Matthew Stafford is a good streaming quarterback this week.
Absolutely. And I was on the Queen's Ransom show with Amber on last night, or two nights ago, because of course today is Friday, and we talked about Stafford. I love the matchup. And then I was on a British podcast, and we were talking about betting lines. I guest on there every once in a while. It's pretty cool to talk to people from across the pond. And so I was on the show, and they asked me for one betting favorite to pick, one betting underdog to pick, one over scores to pick, and one under scores to pick. The favorite that I picked was the LA Rams over the Seattle Seahawks. The line is like 2 or 2.5 or something like that. And I see, especially with Kupp and Nakua in the lineup, I see the Rams winning that by at least a field goal. So I do like Stafford's matchup this week. I feel like he's at a point in the season where he's not hurt and he's got his 2 main wide receivers back. So it's wheels up for the Rams right now.
Yeah, man. All right, buddy. Who is your final start or treat, if you will, of the week?
Because last night was Halloween. So touchdown Texas. Last night was Halloween. So my start. I don't know if I can you say it for me?
Can I say it for you? What your start of the week?
Pat. It's my middle name, Pat.
Patrick.
Yeah.
My homie is Patrick. My homie. I didn't even look at the show sheet, Biggs, because no kidding, no kidding. Against the Bucks, no kidding.
Yeah, start him. I don't want to talk about it.
We are here. We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have breaking news. As of week 8, entering week 9, we have a new leader in fantasy points allowed to quarterbacks. It was the Jacksonville Jaguars for as long as we can remember, like at least 3 or 4 weeks. But there is a team that has surpassed them. The Jacksonville Jaguars are now number 2 in fantasy points allowed to quarterbacks. We don't have the Jaguars to kick around anymore. But who allows the most points to opposing quarterbacks in fantasy football? That would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They allow 26 points per game to fantasy quarterbacks as opposed to the Jaguars' 25.9. This week, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are facing the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is back with Nuke Hopkins. He's got Xavier Worthy. Isaiah Pacheco is on the comeback trail. And the Chiefs are going to put it on the Buccaneers. They're pissed because they only won by a touchdown against the Raiders. They're mad. This is a revenge game for them. Somehow they're undefeated somehow. And I have faded Patrick Mahomes the entire season. This is the week that he's a start.
I don't know if you see some of the stuff, but there he is. It's a couple cards back there. His picture. I like Patrick Mahomes. He's my homie.
I'm gonna go.
Thanks for. Yeah, I know that was hard for you. That was like, if anything, that even us having some, back and forth fight earlier, that was like that really helped me through that.
Thanks, I think man. If Schulte hadn't hit that video when he did, I wouldn't have been able to steel myself for the narrative. I would have had to just like leave it to you to go forward. But because he hit that video, I was able to take that time, collect myself, and then give my analysis. So I appreciate you, Schulte.
All right. Well, let's move on to our sits,
Let's
or
please,
shits,
please.
or our tricks of the week, and I'll start it off here, Biggs. My first trick is Amari Cooper, and I just think that his place right now is he's still gaining his trust with Josh Allen, his third game now. I'm assuming his snap share is going to increase. It has already, but we've seen a very interesting situation emerge here with Keon Coleman coming in, and he's becoming a target there, obviously, with Khalil Shakir. Also, now that is a situation that I'm really high on. I love Khalil Shakir now, and that brings a situation where Amari Cooper was drafted as a top, 15 wide receiver, and I think that it's going to be hard for him this game particularly, and the next couple games to return that until he can gain that chemistry with Josh Allen, which hasn't been there yet. His matchup against the Dolphins, it just doesn't bode well for a breakout performance, in my opinion. While Miami has allowed over 100 receiving yards to multiple players this season, they haven't surrendered more than one touchdown to any player. So Cooper's recent form and the competition for targets in Buffalo, it's likely he'll continue to struggle this week. But it could be a game where he starts to get some momentum, but I'm still sitting him on my bench if there's other options this week.
It's hard to handicap because it is a divisional matchup. It's Tua back with Tyreek out there. He's got a healthy Achane. It's the new regime, I guess. Buffalo Bills with Amari Cooper in the mix. We talked about it on the show before. I love the move for Cooper. It gives them a legit X receiver. It opens up Keon Coleman to do the things that he can do well. It opens up the middle for Khalil Shakir to do the things that he does well. So I do like it. I also like how it opens up things for Amari Cooper. It means that nobody's going to be getting in his way. So he's going to be able to utilize the best parts of his game, and Josh Allen is going to find him. So I do like it. I do like what it does to the Buffalo offense. The problem, of course, is that Miami allows 14 points per game to opposing wide receivers in fantasy. So it's not a great matchup. If there are 14 points, if there are 121 yards in the game to go around, if there's fewer or less than a touchdown to go around, then it's going to hurt all of those guys, and I'm not here for it. So good on you.
I like what he does for the offense, moving forward and in the future. Like you said, it opens it up for guys like Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman. That run game is now even hit another cylinder with James Cook last week. I just think that this is an offense that's ascending as well, and now is putting their stamp on that talk as well with the Baltimore Ravens and the Chiefs as far as that AFC formidable teams.
Exactly. It does the exact same thing as the Baltimore Ravens, where it allows everybody to be their best. And I'm glad you agree with me. All right. My sit of the week is going to be anybody who is wearing the uniform of the New England Patriots, even in the stands or on the couch. I guess they're already sitting. Yeah. Drake May, Ramondre Stevenson, Demario Douglas, Hunter Henry, good Lord. They're in trouble this week. They are facing the Tennessee Titans defense. They are facing a defense that funnels the run to the tune of 75% of their plays. However, they allow 15 yards per game below average and 58 yards per game below average in the passing game. The Titans allow 13 points per game to wide receivers. They are among the lead leaguers in points allowed on the fantasy side to quarterbacks.
League leaguers.
League leaders. There's nowhere for the New England Patriots to go in this game to try and eke out an advantage. And then they're going to be playing from behind because we have the resurrection of Mason Rudolph, which is incredible to feel my mouth saying those words. So everybody on the Patriots that's on your team, make sure they are on your bench. And hey, if one of them scores 20 points, I apologize, but I wouldn't count on it.
Okay. I was a little optimistic about Ramondre this week after a good 2 touchdown game. What are your view on him?
Um,
Obviously, sit him
like
this
I
week.
said,
Obviously,
Tennessee allows they're better than average against the run. They do allow 18 points per game to running backs, but that's most likely a game script thing. Um, and that's when a team is kicking their butt, they tend to go uh, with the running game. Uh, but I don't think New England's going to be kicking their butt. So I think Mason Rudolph is going to have this team out in front for most of the game, and they're not going to be going to Ramondre a whole lot.
okay. All right. So then my next sit then is Javonte Williams, unfortunately. And despite him being the lead back for the Broncos last week with 17 carries against the Panthers, he only managed 44 yards. And that was a juicy matchup for him. A lot of people had him as a start of the week last week. So
Juicy.
this, yeah, it was a juicy. In contrast, they had Jaleel McLaughlin being a little bit more productive, which hasn't happened much this year, which was a little bit concerning. But the schedule does not favor Williams this week. They face the Ravens, who have one of the toughest run defenses in the league, allowing just 3.3 yards per carry. This matchup is going to be tough. And I just think that, Williams is going to be better left on your bench if you can, scrounge out. So I would, just temper my expectations for him. He could be a mid-range RB2 this week, which he's seen, RB1 upside. So he's a guy that I'm just a little bit lower on with based off of the matchup and the opportunity here now.
He was going to be my guy until I got into the show sheet and saw that he was your guy. So same page.
We're on the same page.
We're on the
Yeah,
same
man.
page.
Who do you
All
got
right,
as
and
your
then
last?
my final sit trick,
Mm,
because remember it's a Halloween theme.
yes.
I forgot that for a second. Uh, I feel like every time I say this guy is a trick or a sit, I feel like every single time I say it, because he has a terrible matchup, he goes off for like 30 points. So do with this information what you will. But my sit this week is going to be Jonathan Taylor of the Indiana of the Colts. They're facing a Minnesota defense that is the second worst matchup in the entire NFL as far as yards given up on the ground in the ground game. They are number 5 in fantasy points allowed to running backs at 13.4. The only teams better than them have been the Eagles, Lions, Chargers, and Chiefs. That doesn't bode well for Jonathan Taylor. Neither does a negative game script in which the Vikings jumped out to a big lead against the Colts. So if they are trying to use the run game to get back in, they're going up against a heavy teeth Minnesota Vikings, new era Purple People Eaters defense. Sit Jonathan Taylor. Again, having said that, I'm pretty sure on Mike and I's shows over the last couple of years, I've said to sit him for a bad matchup probably 2 or 3 times, maybe even 4. And every single time he's broken my heart and scored 25 or 30 points. So I'm just saying, do what you will with that information.
It's kind of like every time I speak the name George Pickens, like the opposite happens. So I'm with you there, Biggs. Yeah, I feel your pain, bro. I feel it, man. Wow.
Every time I
Yes.
start Rashid Shaheed, he does nothing. Every time I sit Rashid Shaheed, he scores 30 points, 20 points, whatever. But and I feel the same way about Jonathan Taylor. It's like, I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. So, yeah.
Let's go. Well, that's the end of our Halloween, the day after the
Treats
November.
and tricks show.
Exactly. Hopefully we got you geared up for the weekend. Hopefully you're in a position that you are building that championship roster that we've kind of helped you assist get there. Biggs, anything to add before we end the show here, buddy?
Yeah, make sure that you tune in. last night, Halloween Thursday, and also next Thursday to Points After Touchdown, where we come in right after the Thursday night game and we kick off, giving you the starts and the sits for the week. Fridays is this show. Saturdays, we got the injury show. Sundays, we got Breakfast with Biggs at 8 Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern time, where I answer your starts and sits questions leading up to the other show on Fantasy Sports Advice Network. We have you covered like daily. I was on Queen's Ransom on Wednesday, Points After Thursday, this show on Friday. I got Saturday covered, Sunday covered. Do I take a day off? No, because that waiver wire show we record on Monday. I do take a day off on Tuesday. I have shows on other platforms, but from here, yeah, we got you covered. So make sure that you sign up for the Fantasy Sports Advice Network.com app. Go to there, get your pro membership, and happy Halloween.
Yeah, we hope you win.
We hope you win.
Hope you win.